I can sit on, and I love computer. So in a cyber world, I also want a computer and maybe a cup of coffee. So I think I need a table for me to put my coffee on, and then I may modeling a computer, something like that, so I can work in the virtual environment. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So first, let's create a complete new project. Remember, you sort of need to modularize your project. Okay, so you just build one item inside of one file, and then you can bring all that, sort of import that in a setting. Okay, so let's get started. I think I'm going to go full screen and create a new general. Okay, so the table is pretty simple, I think. So let's get started. First, let me just scale it up. So S to scale it up, because I'm aiming for a sort of a novelty designed asymmetric sort of yeah, design the style table. So yeah, let's get started. So S Z. Yeah, sorry about that. I think I'm going to get a screencast key so you guys can see. Okay, S, let me Z axis, because the table should be pretty thin. So let's just make it pretty thin, and maybe a little longer, something like that. Yeah. Maybe a little bit at the y-axis, because yeah, that's pretty much it. And then what I'm going to do is to apply the scale, because right now the scale is just sort of all messed up, and yeah, we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is to apply the scale of this object. Okay, so Control A, apply, and apply the scale. Remember, look at here, scale. Okay, the scale will be 0.1. So the reason that I'm doing that is that I try to get the edges, sort of the frame of this table ready. But if you don't apply the scale, it will just have a weird proportion to do that. Okay, so yeah, before we actually carve this out, I'm going to prepare some of the faces so I can extrude. So what I'm going to do is to select that. Let's go to edit mode, Control and R, so I can yeah, just cut it multiple times. I think maybe something like that. Yeah, something like that would do, maybe more, because I'm going to aiming for a weird shape. Maybe just this will be enough. Okay, left click, right click, and we'll apply. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 cut, and at here also we need to cut it. Scroll down and get 4 5 cut. Okay, so let's just get 5 cut, and the reason for me doing that is that I get more faces to choose from. Okay, so yeah, I haven't decided which kind of design I want, so I just go with what I think about it. Okay, so then I'm going to exit edit mode, and yeah, so for now, if you look at object, it's still just the table. So yeah, I think maybe we still need to go to the edit mode. Okay, so let's do the face select, and what I'm going to do is to select multiple faces. So holding Control, I'm going to select all the faces here, because I'm going to do a let me just select it all. Okay, remember holding Control all the time so you can select multiple items. So once you select everything, what I'm going to do is to yeah, I think maybe I'm going to select this part as well, because I'm going to hollow all out. So yeah, just bear with me. Holding Control, as I said before. I think I might just insert it first, and then yeah, do this. But yeah, things I'm just doing some experiments. Yeah, don't you worry about that. And I'm going to use I to inset that. Okay, so it will give you a sort of uniformed inset, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I got inset. I got much more faces here. Okay, so then I think I can hollow the center part out. So after you have inset that, you can just cut the faces all together. Okay, so you know, the Blender is a pretty yeah yeah have a pretty high standards for the shortcut. So you just have to need to remember that as long as you select all the faces, you're going to use Control and E to get the sorry about that. Control E to get the edge, and we're going to bridge edge loops, which means that we got all these faces cut, and we got this rounded loop shape filled up, so we got no hollow here. So we got this edges single out, and we can do yeah, much more wrangling later on. And for me, I think this will be our model, and this will be the edges of the table, and inside will be a sort of a glass material filled in, so it will look great. Okay. Right. So since we already finished with the table part, yeah, this plane I think is already pretty good. But let's change that the thickness of it. So what I'm going to do is to scale that z-axis, scale it down a tiny little bit. S, scale it down, z-axis, tiny little bit. So it won't, get a hyper thin design. Okay, I think pretty satisfied with it. And then we can go back to this edit mode, and I'm going to get the asymmetric leg. So face select, holding shift of course, I'm going to get this part. Everything inside between, I think I'm going to leave it as a space, so my leg can push it in and rest comfortably here. If you got a sort of a leg here, your leg won't be able to take up the space. So yeah, it's better to do this way. And let me just get this part, and then at this side I'm going to add more support, because this part do not require you to got a little hole here to stick your leg in. So what I'm going to do is to select this part, this part, this part, and this part. You can do that randomly. I just want to demonstrate that it is doable. And then let's add a little bit asymmetric design. So maybe here, and this way, maybe here. So it's sort of a asymmetric. I think maybe not here, maybe just here. Okay, so yeah, and so one here, and maybe one here, and one here. Just pretty weird design. That's asymmetric is I intentionally go for. Okay, so yeah, I think maybe this is much more interesting. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with it. So then I'm going to extrude it. So let's go to front view, so I can see exactly the height of the extrusion. E extrude, we can just extrude it out. I think the table will be like something like this. It's pretty high. It depends on whether you want to work it as a sort of a leisure kind of table. To put a tea or cup, you might just get a pretty low height. If you got a sort of a study table, you might like this. If you want a movable table that you can put your computer on, you might be like this, because sometimes I love to stand and coding and do this design work, so this table might as well be pretty high. Okay, but since I already got the couch here, so yeah, maybe just lay down and have fun with it. And I got a augmented reality yeah eye glasses, so I'm going to plug that into my laptop and put laptop in pretty low table so I can enter the virtual environment world. So let's stick with the pretty low, maybe like this. Okay, so this is a pretty interesting design table. Okay, so we get a sort of asymmetric design at the left and right, and here I got this area that I can stuck my leg in. This is the area that yeah, maybe you can connect some wires through here. Yeah, I think I'm pretty satisfied with it. Of course, you can always add more. So for example, if you want to get a little bit more interesting design, you can do something like this. Okay, so this is just a demonstration of how to get a pretty design of feeling to your to your work. So for example, you can got it here, and then you can extrude again, so you get more faces for you to work. Okay, so sometimes you might get a pretty thin area here, and then you can add more things by say you want to extrude these faces or maybe this face. You can do that. Okay, so you can extrude maybe here, maybe half of it. Okay, so you can extrude here. You can even add in a little bit of rotation to make things even more interesting. Okay, so let me just show you. Okay, you can then you can rotate it. Okay, so you can rotate it something like that, so you can get a sort of a wedge, and then you can extrude it out. Okay, and then you can rotate it, and then you can extrude out and extrude out something like that. Okay, and so you can rotate it, then you can extrude out, you can rotate it, and then you can extrude out something like that. Okay, but yeah, I know it's a little bit weird to have something like this, but I just want to show you that it's doable. You can get a sort of a curve shape here, and of course you can even go to sculpt mode and like use a hook to go that. Okay, for now let's just stick with the original design, and let's go to wireframe mode and do the extrusion. Yeah, normally, not some crazy extrusion. So I'm going to rotate it and yeah, extrude that, and then let me just extrude that and then rotate it at the y-axis so it won't get weird. Okay, then extrude that and then scale it down a little bit because you don't want the part to go pretty crazy. So get that, and then you can extrude that. Okay, like this, and I think the rotation is already enough because extrude that, then rotate it, then extrude that, something like that, and then rotate, extrude. Maybe the rotation is not enough. Like this, extrude it, like that, rotate. It's just sort of repetitive work. Okay, extrude, rotate, extrude, rotate, extrude, rotate. Yeah, you can add as many loop as you like. But I think yeah, you got idea. If you want finish, you can just go to the center pretty quickly. I think I can even write a program for that. But yeah, let's just go to the middle of it. I think this is already enough of the loop. Okay, got here, and then I'm going to scale it up. Okay, something like that. So yeah, let's check the result. The solid mode. Yeah, you got something like this. Okay, and I think this is pretty big, so scale it, y-axis, maybe just make it smaller. Okay, and then this could be I don't know, maybe the amplifier here, and then we got amplifier here. Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty interesting design that when you look at here, you got amplifier here and there. Yeah, let's change this position a little bit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to grab that to here and maybe rotate that a little bit. So let me just rotate it at the wireframe mode. Look at from the top, and I'm going to rotate it at that axis so you can rotate it back like here, then extrude, and then rotate like this. I think this is already pretty good, and then you can scale it up. Okay, so this will be the amplifier. So sort of yeah, cyberpunk here, yeah, but a little bit organic shape. Maybe scale it up at that axis, so a little bit bigger, and yeah, something like that. And then you can use the theme method to work on this part, so you get a pretty interesting shape table. So yeah, let's just try to do that. Let's go to wireframe mode, go here, and let's go to the front view. Let's just select that first and then go to front view. So the wire go from the under the table. I'm going to use that on 1, so I can shoot out and just repeat the process that I done at the right. But I'm tend to do something yeah, more interesting than that. So maybe I'm going to do a quick rotation, so this won't be as complex as the right one. Just a few rotation will finish the work. Rotate, extrude, rotate, extrude, rotate, extrude. Yeah, maybe something like this. Okay, so remember last time I got this. I like it to stick it out, so it will be something like this. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate it by look at different view. Okay, I'm going to rotate it at the Z axis, so be something like this, and I'm going to extrude out and then rotate, something like that, and then I can scale it up, so it will be another amplifier. So one here, one here. As I said, I don't want it to be perfectly symmetric, maybe something like this. Okay, and yeah, let's go to solid mode and this is pretty cool design. Okay, so there will be 2 amplifier here, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So let's working on something more. And yeah, I think the result is already pretty good, but I sort of want this to be a cyberpunk and organic mechanic shape. So what I'm going to do is to change the edges, and there is a good way to change the edges is to add modifier. Okay, so first I think I'm going to apply the scale. So Control and A to apply the scale, and then I'm going to add modifier. Click the wrench, and we got this. Say the let's use the bevel modifier to do that. Okay, so the bevel modifier amounts, and I think this is already pretty big amounts, so maybe 0.01. Okay, and then let's look at the edges to increase the segments. Alright, we do not see the segment, maybe 0.001 maybe. Then let's increase the segments. Okay, I know the reason that it did not work, because if you look at here, our dimension is pretty big, but now that this amount that set is pretty small. Yeah, my bad. So what I'm going to do is to change that. Okay, to change the dimension. So sort of just to scale it down. Of course, you can do that, but it will yeah, change the proportion of that. That is not what you want. So what I'm going to do is just to increase that, so I can get the things to work, and then I'm adjust all the size accordingly, because I'm going to import that in a sort of a real life scale scenario. So what I'm going to do is to, because I think this dimension is pretty yeah big, so maybe maybe just 1, I think, and maybe 5. Yeah, you can fine tune that. Yeah, I changed my mind. I think the bevel modifier have sort of a bug, because I got a pretty messy shape, and the results I tried multiple times is not good. So I changed my mind. I think the subdivision surface is much better shape than this bevel modifier. So I think this is pretty good. It give you a sort of a low poly yeah, shape to it. So what I'm going to do is to increase that, because that is pretty crude. So yeah, I'm going to make it 4, and yeah, and yeah, this is going to be pretty smooth shape, and of course you can right click and shader smooth, get a pretty smooth shade, so it gives you a pretty interesting looking smooth shape table. And of course you can go to the edit mode and Control and E, yeah, select all, sorry, and Shift Control E. Yeah, what is the shortcut? Shift and E. Yeah, sorry, Shift and E, and you can just drag it to make it to change the shape, to make it much more filled to these edges that you've been setting. So what I'm going to do is to give it approximate edging, but to smooth things up. Okay, so yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Especially the area here, give you a sort of a smooth but organic shape, and the rest you get a pretty smooth design. I think that's pretty good. And of course, if you don't want that, you can Shift and E. You can just zoom it in, this will give you a more rounded shape rather than sort of a squared shape. Okay, that's yeah, all depending on you, what kind of designer you want. Let's go a between one. Okay, maybe this one like this. Okay, and yeah, I changed my mind before I actually do that. Let's just get rid of this modifier. I'm trying to get this as big as possible because I think if I use that modifier, this amplifier would be pretty small, so I don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to make it pretty big and then add the subdivision surface modifier, and then make it 4. 5 is too high, and edit mode, shift and A to drag that, something like that. Okay, pretty sleek design. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So yeah, this will be our weird looking table. And I think I'm going to grab this face up a little bit. So that axis, grab this up a little bit because I don't want to touch the ground. So yeah, this will be our frame of the table. Okay,